you do these appointments, you're coming up with a new brand, right? Your own creation, which is really cool. So now people are not gonna look for other brands, they're just gonna come to you, right? Is it profitable? Like looking in a sense, like, do people care a lot about fashion nowadays, these days?
So in the current state of the world, like we're living in a recession, so a lot of people are spending less on wants and they're spending more on needs. So a need is like water, food, etc., and then a want is like clothing or jewelry or something like that. But it's really weird because at the state of the world right now, a lot of brands like Burberry, Gucci, they're getting back, their revenue is increasing again to pre-pandemic levels. So it's interesting because we're living in a recession, but people are also spending more now. So I would say
Crazy.
clothing is back on the rise again. And yeah, so it's profitable for me because a lot of the things I sell, I have no employees. The main thing I spend on is manufacturing and marketing. So those are the two big like expenses for me. But everything I do for the business, I do myself. So the only thing I'm giving is my time, which is of course an expense if you really think about it.
Yeah.
But a lot of my collection sells out like in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, so it's very profitable, but it takes a long time to think of the concept of the collection and the way I want to portray that collection. So the next collection I have is called the Ethereal Collection, and the collection is going to be very, I don't want to say too much about it, but the collection is going to be very like out there. It's going to be very like statement pieces. So this shirt I'm wearing right now is from my last collection. So it's a very standout piece. It's all my clothes are unisex, so I don't think there's a gender in fashion anymore. And all my collections try to portray that fact that unisex clothing is the future. So last year I started the brand, and this year actually you see a lot of unisex clothing in fashion. A lot of runways have unisex clothing, and it's on the rise. So I was right last year when predicting that unisex clothing would be on the rise. So that's why I think a lot of my clothes sell out very quick, because I was like a pioneer of this. I was there before it started, and that's what you want to do in life. You want to be there before it starts. You want to look at things, and you want to be there before something starts, and you want to be there and do that thing well, like no one else has done it before.
Wow, there's no gender. Wow. That's insane. There's no gender for fashion. I love that. I love that because that's where the world is going now.
Yeah. So a lot of the things I wear, if you see my feed on Instagram, a lot of it I'm mixing traditionally masculine clothing with traditionally feminine clothing. So some clothing I wear is from the women's section, for example, but I'm mixing it with the masculine pieces. And a lot of women these days are wearing clothes from the men's section.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to see this. And a lot of the outfits that I have that are people have complimented me on the most is when I'm wearing a mix of both men's and women's fashion in the same outfit. So yeah, I love to do this in Australia where no one, like some people are doing it, but not many people are doing it. And that's why I called the brand Sanctus Sydney. So Sanctus means holy in Latin, and Sydney, of course, because I want to represent Australia.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like, the whole thing about clothing is that I want people to think like it's very important. So holy, of course, like God, not as important as God, of course, but you know what I'm trying to say. So I want people to think that fashion is important, and the way you express yourselves to others, it's very important. So the way you dress and the way you look, I want you to be like the biggest standout in the room. I want you to be the person that's, wherever you go, you stand out. So when I'm wearing something like my own clothing, I'm the standout person in the room.
Wow, intense, very creative, there's a big message behind this,
I
man.
love clothing, so that's why I'm so passionate about it.
That's so cool, man. Yeah, there's a lot that go behind it. Like, I feel like brands are spending a lot in marketing these days with social media, right? Social
Yes.
media is a powerful tool. Oh, talking marketing, like, did you follow the Balenciaga?
Yeah, so that's one of the worst like marketing scandals like in recent years, because Balenciaga is the #1 brand in the world, luxury brand in the world. But now it's crazy. Like, I saw something just today on social media that the stores are, there's no one inside the stores. They have markdowns, like they have sales for products, and it's really, really bad. And Balenciaga was actually my favorite brand.
And it's not anymore.
So, I mean, they said there was a mistake. It was the photographer and the set designers that made that mistake.
Yeah.
But they had like court document from a child pornography like case. And when you have that with images of like children with, you know, bondage on, or like holding a teddy bear that has a bondage on it. That's not a good sign, you know. And Balenciaga has always been one of those brands that has been like out there, like very, very out there. And that's something I really liked about them. And Demna, the creative director of Balenciaga, I was very, he inspired me very much because, you know, he was a refugee and he came into Balenciaga and made it into one of the most like successful brands in recent years. And now, like with this scandal, who knows what's going to happen now? Because I wear a lot of Balenciaga, and my TikTok name is Balenci Boy Bav because I love it. I love the alliteration. I love Balenciaga, but I don't know if I'm gonna wear any Balenciaga now. So I haven't been wearing any Balenciaga since the scandal. But
You might have to change your TikTok.
I have 2 rings on my finger, on my pinky ring, Balenciaga and Balenciaga. So it's matching Balenciaga. So that's the only Balenciaga I wear right now, is just the rings. But it's low key. You can't really like notice it's Balenciaga.
Yeah.
But I love Balenciaga, so who knows what's gonna happen.
Damn, man. Damn, man. Crazy. What time is it? God, we spoke about so many things. Yeah, Bob, is there anything else that you would like to talk about? Anything you want to bring up about you, about your business, about your next steps? And
Yeah, so I'm just focusing on my styling business at the moment, you know, because in China right now, I'm not sure if you know this, but they're building like something like concentration camps.
Really?
So they're forcing like the Chinese to, with the COVID over there, it's like crazy right now. So that's one of the problems with my clothing brand, because it's hard for like it's like Nazi Germany all over again right now, and like tyranny. It's crazy with the government right now, and that's why it's been hard for me with my brand. Every time I'm trying to call the company, seeing what's going on, are they manufacturing the products or what? You know, I'm getting like no answers or something like that. But yeah, right now I'm just taking that into account with the brand, and it's just like it sounds insensitive to say, of course, because people are losing their lives, and you know people are being tyrannized by this radical government. So I don't want to make it just all about my brand and just like where's my clothing and all that stuff when people are like trying to lose their lives and stuff like that. So right now I'm just trying to focus on my styling business at the moment, and when things calm down a bit, then I'm going to try to release the next collection. But I've already designed everything, so it's just in China's hands now.
wow, it's at that level, man. Didn't know that stuff. Yeah, crazy, man. Like, yeah, Bob. Like, listen, like the world is going crazy, right? Like Brazil now, like we just had the election. People don't want to accept it. People don't want to accept the result. There's a lot of like rumors here and there, nothing really technical showing that is a failure in the system. But then when we look at US, inflation is going crazy. And when we look at Europe, the war, and now China, it's just insane. I just feel lucky to be in Australia, to be honest, man.
Yeah,
because
a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. But thank you so much, Bav. Thank you so much for your presence. I feel like you have a lot to teach to people.